Welcome to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas. Here you'll find our family as we strive to live a life that pleases the Lord. We do our best to make the most out of what we've been given, so we'd like to invite you to come along and join us on our journey. Hey y'all, welcome back to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas. Today we're going to be talking about homemade marshmallows. I adore homemade marshmallows. One, because I know exactly what they're made out of, as per usual it seems, but also they are so rich and gelatin. It is it's gut healing, healthy marshmallows for you and your family. I like a marshmallow. I like a store-bought marshmallow, but there's not a whole lot of nutritional value in those. It's actually mainly sugar. But these are full of gut healing gelatin, maple syrup, good salt, and all it is just a little bit of time and a little effort to make your own. And you can eat them as is. You can toast them. You can pop some into my favorite way. Just take one and put it in your coffee because it makes this lovely, luscious foam like you would get for, if you were going to get a latte or whatever, you steam that milk. It creates this foam. Oh my gracious, it's so good. That's my absolute favorite way to eat them. I'm not a s'more person, but you can make s'mores with them. But yes, this is one of those things. Now I will say, I am making Rice Krispie treats this weekend. I'm not making them with these. I'm making them with store-bought marshmallows. But for everything else, I prefer a homemade marshmallow. Mainly because I'm making such a large amount of Rice Krispie treats this weekend. Plus I'm making them with Rice Krispie cereal. So it's just like, let me take just a moment. So everybody, if you're here, you probably are here because you're on a journey of wanting to make better choices for your family. I remember this journey. I'm still on the journey. That's why it's called a journey. You're not ever going to arrive. But that's the beauty of it too. You're constantly striving and changing and trying to do better. But I remember as a young mom and wife, I remember when I started trying to make these changes that I became completely overwhelmed, and I tried to do too much too fast. And I got overwhelmed and discouraged because I was like, everything's bad for me. Everything's bad for my kids. Everything, blah, 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 blah. Truth of the matter, it probably is. There's a lot of things that are bad, but there's a lot of things that are good. And we have to get to a point where we can live in this world and not be afraid of everything. So we make choices, okay? This weekend, I am using store-bought marshmallows and store-bought Rice Krispies, and I'm making Rice Krispie treats because it's what we do every year at our pumpkin carving party. I make those every year. It's my sister's request, and I love to bless her and make them. I use double the amount of marshmallows that one normally makes, and they're so sticky and ooey gooey, and there's never any left by the time we eat them. And I make 2 huge trays of them. But it's a celebration. It's a time of family and love and get together. Now, I'm not saying that this should be an always thing. This should be an occasional thing, a very occasional thing. And as long as I'm here and able, I will continue to make those for our pumpkin carving party. We can enjoy healthy marshmallows in our coffee, at home, as a treat by themselves, on the norm. Do you see what I'm saying? I want you to understand that it is, you don't want to get to the point where you can't enjoy anything because you're afraid of everything, because you're so consumed with everything being bad that you can't cut loose every once in a while. The problem is we cut loose way too often. Now I'm even going to go I'm going to delve just a smidge deeper. When we look at cold and flu season, granted, we are coming from very warm weather to cooler weather. We're swapping out air conditions for closed windows. We're heating our house. There's going to be there's a big shift there. But there's also, so that's, environmental. But we also have holidays where there's a lot of consumption of sugar and foods that are not necessarily good for us. Now, if we just consume those on those holidays, if we just had a little too much candy on Halloween, if we had just a bit too much turkey and pie on Thanksgiving, and we had few too many cookies on Christmas, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But the problem is that's become pretty normal for every day. So when we consume these things as a part of everyday life, day in and day out, our immune system is compromised because of the poor choices. Our bodies are taking a hit because where normal foods are forgone, we've got candy left over. I'm going to eat a bunch more. We've got another party tonight, so I'm going to have some more of this. And again, I am all for celebrations. You should celebrate. And that's I've had a problem with that. Like, I would be very strict with myself, and when the kids were younger, sometimes with my children, because I was so afraid about letting them have too much or this or whatever. But there is a time and a purpose and a season under heaven, and we have to try to temper that with the world we live in and the life we live. And I want to encourage you, don't forgo those celebrations. There is times for feasting. There is times for plenty and joy and wonderful, rich, delicious food. But then we should go back to what we know is right and good for our bodies, because we need that nourishment. We need to expel those extra calories. We need to expel the extra food and go back to what is normal and good for us to recover. And, you know me, I have a struggle with weight. It is painfully obvious. But these are lessons that I'm learning, that I've learned, and, you pay the price. So let me just tell you, back in the day, because many of you are so much younger than me, and that's kind of weird for me to realize now, that I'm the older lady. I embrace that. I love being the older lady. I think I've always wanted to be the older lady, to teach and train and help with the young. But now that I'm here, sometimes I forget. So I talk to you like your peers, but I need to remember most of you probably could be my children. So anyways, back in the day, gelatin was very, very common. It was something that was given when there was sickness. And a lot of people thought it was just because it was light and wasn't heavy on the stomach. And that's one thing that is true. The main reason is because gelatin is such a healing food. It actually goes in and it kind of coats the stomach lining. It coats the intestinal tract. It will, and then when that is kind of loved on and heals the gut, you've heard the term leaky gut. Gelatin is one of those things that's going to help repair that leaky gut. And when that gut is healed and it's repaired, it doesn't leak. So therefore, when you eat something, the nutrition, the minerals, the vitamins, all of that gets absorbed the way it should be, and then it's dispersed throughout the body where it's needed. So doesn't that make sense? So gelatin was very common to give families who were sick. When you were young, you were given either some warm gelatin to drink, or you were given like a little bowl of gelatin to eat. The sad thing that's happened with most gelatin now is it's been stripped of all the good things. And it's been infiltrated with lots of sugar, lots of dye, and just stuff that we don't need. But as per the norm, there's ways to reclaim that goodness. So what I use is a grass-fed beef gelatin, because it does come from the bones, and that's what you want. When we make beef broth or bone broth, that's what we want. We want the gelatin and the collagen from those bones, and that is what is that healing factor. And it's the same stuff when you want to make something that is jiggly. So rather than going out and buying loads of supplements, let's eat our vitamins. Let's eat our minerals. Let's eat our supplements. And there you go. There's your supplement right there. And it's tasty too. And you know what? Putting it in our coffee, it makes it a whole lot better than putting that powder in there. I promise you. All right. So gelatin is derived from collagen. It's great for joint health. Again, let me say, those products out there that say, that entice you to buy it, collagen, gelatin, bone health, joint health, hair, skin, nails. It's all true. It's all true. But again, let's get it from our food. Make that bone broth, which is another video coming soon. Make these marshmallows. It's great in protein. Everybody and their brother is looking for ways to add protein to their diets. Gelatin is a great way to do that. So these marshmallows they're full of protein. Protein, collagen, gelatin, minerals, vitamins, and one tasty little nugget. So let's go and gather up all that we need. It's just a very few ingredients. It takes a little bit of time, and you do have to be careful because you are boiling. You're boiling your syrup on the stove. It has to go to a kind of a high heat, but again, it's not hard. It just takes a few minutes. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is, let me get out a measuring spoon. Only have a half a tablespoon here. I don't have a full. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a half a cup of water. You know what? Let me fix this. I want to show you rather than me just talk. All right, so I've got a cup of water here. I'm going to pour half of it into a bowl. That's about right. And I only have a half tablespoon measuring spoon, So we want 3 tablespoons of gelatin.
So I'll do 6 of these halves.
I'm not going to stir it up. I'm just going to leave it and set that to the side. What I'm using is the Great Lakes beef gelatin unflavored. That's what you want. Set that all to the side. Now the next thing you want is your little casserole dish. And I used this last night, so there's still some powdered sugar on there. But you want a piece of parchment paper. Let me show you a trick. Just crumble that parchment paper up. Then it will lay in your pan. Now I have some powdered sugar in my little spoon here, or not spoon, my little sprinkler. I use this when I'm baking sourdough. I'm just gonna sprinkle powdered sugar all over that. And that will be set to the side. Now, I wish I had a smaller pot, but I gave those to my son for college. So into this pot, we're putting another 1/2 cup of water and a cup of maple syrup. Now, if you prefer, you could use honey, you could use plain sugar, you could use either of those and make your marshmallows that way. I really love the taste of maple syrup. So I really enjoy these marshmallows made with maple syrup. So that's going to go into the pot too. I'm trying to get every little stitch of this out. Okay. Now, let's fix you. I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to need to stay very close to this because we're going to stir it pretty much constantly because, again, I'm using a big pot. If I were using a smaller pot, it might be a little easier, but because I'm using such a big pot, I'm having to stir it a lot because I do not want any scorch or burnt taste. So, starting in a bunch. And I'm going to get my thermometer. And you want to get to what they call soft candy stage, which is around 238 degrees. So, again, it's not hard, just takes a little time, and you just kind of have to sit with it for a few minutes. In total, I would say maybe 10 minutes here to get to that point. You're going to think it's going to take like forever, but just stick with it. It'll be fine. Now, let me show you this while this is just starting. You can see that it is already, there's a little bit of gelatin that's still on the top that's dry, but it's like soaked up all, the water has soaked up all that gelatin, and it's just kind of a spongy mass already. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go dump this into my mixer. That way when it's ready, when I'm ready with this sugar syrup, and I call it sugar syrup because that's what it is essentially, but we're using maple syrup to make the syrup. So this and the vanilla is going to be waiting in the mixer for my sugar syrup. And if you had like a hand mixer, it's probably, you might have a little better control over it, but I just put it in my stand mixer because that's what I have. So once it gets up to 238, then I will drizzle that sugar syrup into my gelatin and vanilla. Okay, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just dump this into my mixer. Look at that. This is just one solid mass. But I'm going to go ahead and scrape out this little bits of dry pieces that are still in there. And if you've got any of that beautiful vanilla that I showed you how to make last week, that's going to go in there too. I go ahead and add mine right away, but some people don't. And also, I like to add about 2 teaspoons. Most people only add 1. We are really getting there. Let's see, temperature now. We're at 220, so we're getting close. But you'll start noticing a texture difference in the syrup. It will start getting more syrupy the closer you get to 238. Make sure you're stirring. You don't want that to scald. Recognize too that, you know, I told you before, it's a one-woman show here. So, and I'm not professional at anything, that when this hits 238, I've got to move quickly and get this syrup started drizzling into the gelatin. So I'll do my best to get the camera set up over there and filming as quickly as I can, but showing you like me doing it and the process of what happens to the marshmallows as they're cooking. You know, that syrup is gonna start heating up that gelatin, and it's gonna start making that fluff. So I will show you that as good as I can. All right, checking our temperature again. About 225. Continue to climb. So when you get done with your marshmallows, after you've poured it all into your pan and you've let it set out, you want to let it set out for about 12 hours to dry. And when you do that, get a piece of parchment here, put it over here. Say like this one has a little bit of a lumpy top. You can smooth that off with just a sharp knife to get that nice square that you're looking for, if that's super important to you. Then you could put the squares into one bag and your bits into another. But what I like to do is, this is just some powdered sugar. And if you will take it and kind of roll your marshmallow in that powdered sugar, it will help to just kind of make a seal around it so it won't weep. And then you're going to store them. So with this batch, I actually mixed them too long and they seized up on me, so they're not perfect. They're not like nice and smooth across the top when I poured them into my pan, but that's okay. What I've done is I've went ahead and pulled them out of the pan and I've cut them up into squares, and I'm just slicing off the lumpy bits if I want them to be pretty. If I don't, if it's not for show, if it's just for eating, it really doesn't matter. It's just if you want that aesthetically pleasing little cube of marshmallow. After you're done cutting them, if you choose, then you can roll them around in your powdered sugar. And that's going to help them to seal and to stay dry when you put them in your airtight container. You want to store these on your counter, not in the fridge. So just put them in an airtight container and set them on your counter, and they're good to go for weeks. But if you put them in the fridge, they're going to weep and it's going to make a mess, and they're not going to be very nice and firm at all. Chair. Get on the chair. Come on, Wesley. Come here. This chair, right here. Got your stool. Come here, Wes.
What is this?
I'll show you in just a minute. Weston, come to Mama.
If you take something to play on,
Come here. You come here.
I think it's cool.
Come to Mama. I'll show you something. Cover your mouth. Cover your mouth. Come here. All right. Oh. Stand my brother here. All right. My brother stand beside you. Look right here. You're gonna work. All right, stand up.
But I hope Wes will aggravate or what?
He's not gonna aggravate. All right, look. Mama made these marshmallows, and they've been sitting overnight, so we've got to powder them with this powdered sugar. Can you put them in the powdered sugar?
Yes.
And roll them around like that? That way they get coated, and then set them out to the side. Wes, don't make a mess. Here. There you go. Now just set that right there. There we go. Okay, here, look. Your turn, Weston. Weston, your turn. Do like brother. It's okay. It's okay.
I think they're yummy.
Yeah. Let's roll around in the powdered sugar.
Okay. Hey, Weston, you aggravate here.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. He's just...
No hidden, Westy. No
Let's
hidden.
put some in here. Hang on, Wes. Let's put some powdered sugar in there, and you can sprinkle it a little bit too, like this. That's pretty cool, huh? And just set them to the side. There you go. And we gotta do all these.
This one is
It's just
too hot. Westy.
You see the cow? You see the cow on there? And then once they're all done with powdered sugar, then we're gonna put them in this bowl, like this. I know. You're doing good. You're almost done. Come on. Come on. Climb up.
I think he's not done yet.
Now clean it up. Can you clean up for Mama? Look, Weston. Wipe it down. Can you do that? Clean up. There you go. Good. Remove your cup. Let's move this. Let's clean up. Wessie. Brother's still working, so let's clean. Weston. Your turn. Here. There you go. Your turn. Wipe it down. Oh, so good. Thank you. Well, hang on now. Where are you going? Can you look in the camera? Can you say thank you for watching?
Thank you for watching.
You say also come back next time.
Come back next time.
And then say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Wesley, can you say bye-bye? Can you say bye-bye? And can you wave? Can you wave? Oh dear. So there you go. A good healthy treat that's not a lot of effort, but it really, the taste is well worth the little bit of effort you put into it. And it's nutritious for you too. So I hope you enjoyed this. I thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.